Hi guys, my name is Marlena, and together with Maggie and Melinda, we will talk to you today about three Chinese figures who had some major impacts on the history of China. Let's start with Mao. Mao, also Mao Zedong, was known as Mao Zedong, and here's a quick picture of him. Mao was born in 1893 in Shaoshan, Hunan, which is a province in China, and he died in the year of 1976 in Beijing of China. Mao had a military influence, and he was a Chinese communist revolutionary leader. He founded the People's Republic of China. He was also a principal Chinese Marxist theorist, soldier, and statesman who led China's communist revolution. He served as founding father, chief of state, governed as chairman of the Communist Party of China from its establishment in 1949 to 1959, and he led the Chinese Communist Party from 1935 until his death in 1976. A famous quote by Mao is, "An army without culture is a dual-witted army, and a dual-witted army cannot defeat the enemy." Mao unveiled Great Leap Forward as well as Cultural Revolution. Let's start with Great Leap Forward. Great Leap Forward was a social and economic campaign by the Communist Party of China from the year 1958 to 1961. It aimed to rapidly transform the country from an agrarian economy into a socialist society through rapid industrialization and collectivization. It was considered to have started the Great Chinese Famine. And what a Great Chinese Famine was that it was a period between the years of 1959 to 1961 and was characterized by a widespread famine, including drought and poor weather. Then we also have Cultural Revolution. This was a sophisticated movement that took place in the People's Republic of China. It lasted 10 years, from 1966 to 1976. Mao set into motion a stated goal of preserving what he called true communist ideology. This was done by purging remnants of capitalist and traditional elements from Chinese society, thus reimposing Maoist. What Maoist was is that it was a political theory which was derived from the teachings of Mao Zedong, where his followers consider it an anti-revisionist form of Marxism-Leninism. Mao came to power during the famous Long March that lasted from 1934 to 1936. The Long March happened during a civil war when embattled Chinese communists broke through nationalist enemy lines and began an epic flight from their encircled headquarters in southwest China. The trek lasted a year and covered more or less of 4,000 miles, marking the emergence of Mao Zedong as the undisputed leader of Chinese Communist Party. By the end of 1945, Mao was hailed as the party's leading political and military strategist and as a preeminent ideological thinker. His thoughts reflected those of Marxist theory, political, economic, and social theories, a practice of socialism including the belief that the struggle between social classes is a major force that will eventually yield a classless society to China's actual historical conditions. Mao built an intricate system of ideology, organization, guerrilla warfare, and rural recruitment, which led to the emergence of a powerful political movement that was backed up by its own military forces, and that was the Red Army. He transformed China with his political initiatives throughout his role of leadership. He led China into its separation from the Soviet Union. He will also be remembered for initiating the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution in 1966, as he fixed the chaos created by this a year later by calling his military.
Hi, my name is Melinda Hill, and I'm going to be talking about Deng Xiaoping. Deng Xiaoping is known as the father of modern China. He was born on August 22nd in 1904 in Shan Province in China and died on February 19th, 1997 in Beijing, China. Deng Xiaoping had many political influences when it comes to China. Before he had a role in leadership, he was active in the Chinese Communist Party in 1924, while also studying abroad in France. He studied abroad in France for 1 year in 1924, but lived there for 2 years and returned to China in 1926. He was a political and military organizer for Jiangxi Soviet, which is the Chinese Soviet Republic created by Mao Zedong. In his time spent in power, Deng Xiaoping and Mao Zedong could not seem to agree on economic strategies. He was brought back into the public view in 1973 by Mao Zedong because his skills were needed to improve the economy. While in power, the economy improved significantly. It actually improved quite a bit. Its GDP quadrupled between the years of 1980 to 1995. His legacy also achieved China a 9.5% growth rate since the economic reform. He also played a major role in the Tiananmen Square massacre, and this is where students and citizens throughout China were demonstrating their freedom of speech and press, which created a major chaos in the community. In order to stop it, he had to move in and clear the square with military, which caused even further chaos and thousands of casualties. His political power was definitely expressed when he was able to keep his power throughout all the protests in Tiananmen. Deng Xiaoping remained in power until 1992, and then he decided to step down from power. While in power, Deng Xiaoping implemented many policies. These are just a couple of the ones that are most popular that he implemented, and a little bit about them. He implemented the Reform and Opening Policy, which required China to open itself to the rest of the world in order to attract foreign investment and to educate students abroad in the latest technologies. He implemented the Foreign Modernizations, which was a plan designed for China to have economic power in the world market and was related to agriculture, military, science, and technology. Probably the most popular that most people know about would be the One Child Policy, which was a goal to control China's population. They felt like the population was getting too large, so they decided they wanted to control it and condense it. The policy stated that families were allowed to have only one child unless the firstborn was a girl, and since then this has changed. Deng Xiaoping left a major impact on the Chinese history. He was thought of as the most important and influential man and leader since Mao Zedong. He reformed China by setting up the HRS, the Household Responsibilities System, and this is each household was held accountable to the state for only what it agreed to produce and that it was free to keep surplus output for private use. He turned China into a more capitalist country by opening up international trade and making his goal to improve the Chinese people's lives. The implementation of many economic reforms that he did, which led to the change in the course of Chinese economy. This made China the second largest economy in the world, which China still is to this day. So as you can tell, Deng Xiaoping really left a major impact on China and China's history and economy and where they stand as an economist country in today's light when it comes to finances and financial responsibilities.
Hello everyone, my name is Magdalena Esparza and I will be presenting on Xi Jinping. He is commonly known as a princeling, and he's considered this because he's someone who's destined to rise within the government due to family connections. Xi Jinping was born on June 15, 1953. He is the son of a revolutionary veteran, Xi Xiaoping, one of the Communist Party's founding fathers. His father was well placed in the Chinese Communist Party but fell out of favor during the Cultural Revolution, and Xi had to start from the bottom. In 1966, when Mao launched the Cultural Revolution, all formal education was halted, and Xi Jinping, at age 15, was sent down to work in a remote farming village for several years, doing manual chores and subsiding on rice gruel. It was there that Xi grew up, both physically and mentally, and learned what it was like to be poor in solitude and gained valuable knowledge of life and hard work. Though the Cultural Revolution was a failure, Xi emerged with a sense of idealism and pragmatism. After numerous unsuccessful attempts, in 1974, Xi Jinping was finally accepted into the Communist Party. In 1975, a year later, he began to study chemical engineering and earned his degree in 1979. Between 1979 and 1982, Xi served in the Central Military Command as vice premier, gaining valuable military experience. From that point forward, he steadily rose through the ranks of the Communist Party. From 1983 to 2007, Xi Jinping served in the leadership position in 4 provinces. In early 2008, he was elected Vice President of the People's Republic of China and placed in charge of preparations for the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing. On March 14, 2013, Xi finally completed his ascent when he was elected President of the People's Republic of China. Xi has been aggressively consolidating power around himself since taking office in late 2012. He has taken leadership roles for the Communist Party, the state, the economy, and the military. Many of these roles have caused people to compare him to Mao Zedong for his strong leadership stance with zero tolerance towards corrupt officials. Several of the commissions or leading groups that Xi is head of essentially have the final say on everything from economic reforms to state security to cyberspace affairs. In consolidating his power, Xi seems to have adopted Mao's playbook. Some of the most high-profile groups of commissions headed by Xi only came to existence under his rule. For example, in November 2013, the Central Leading Group for Comprehensive Deepening Reforms was set up to steer reforms on all levels, and the Central National Security Commission, CNSC, was established to combat terrorism and separatism. In his first term, Xi has revealed himself as not only an economic and political conservative, but also a skilled populist. So much so that he told the media that government should be a limited government. He truly believes that whenever there were issues that the government was incapable of handling, the public should be given back the power to tackle them. He has also now urged the country to achieve the China dream, something he has linked to a Chinese Renaissance where the country can take its rightful place in the world. After less than 5 years as China's leader, Xi Jinping has become one of the most powerful people in the nation's modern history, outshining his immediate predecessors. Fulfilling one of his early promises, Xi almost immediately embarked on a campaign to deal with government corruption, so much that by the end of 2014, the CCP has disciplined more than 100,000 officials. In 2014, China introduced the One Belt, One Road initiative to bolster trade routes and launch the ambitious Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Xi has also changed some of the laws enacted by predecessors, formally ending China's one-child policy in 2015. His elimination of the re-education through labor system, which punished individuals charged with petty crimes, was viewed favorably. Critics, however, have noted that his crackdown on government corruption mainly targeted political opponents, and the CCP has come under fire by human rights groups for jailing journalists, lawyers, and other private citizens. Under Xi's reach, censors have sought to eliminate Western influence in school curriculums and limited the public's access to internet. With Xi's changes, the future of China looks positive for business and economy and foreign firms. China has a growing market infused with rapid industrial development and economic growth that is still greatly influenced by government participation. Therefore, firms need to really learn and understand how the three leaders impacted China. Mao Zedong's Cultural Revolution changed China's culture, and culture is key to succeeding in China's business. Deng Xiaoping's economic reforms changed China's economy, making China what it is today. Xiaoping's Chinese Renaissance, known as the Chinese Dreams, seeks to change both the cultural and economy of China by giving China its rightful place in the world. Therefore, firms should really focus on the future changes that Xi Jinping will bring with this Chinese dream. China's leaders created the fast-evolving Chinese marketplace that we know today. Therefore, firms seeking to do business in China need to give up their transaction-based mentality and seek to understand the relationship-based mentality of the Chinese culture. The business climate in China includes risk, such as increasing demand for domestic production and reduction of foreign direct investment. One-party rule, authoritarian central government tightly controlled, and more changes to come from Xi Jinping and his expected continual term after 2012. So firms who are unable to recognize and adapt the different cultural dimensions along with all of these changes may have a lot of trouble succeeding in China. Xi Jinping, however, is a business-friendly man, but strong in dealing with issues. Therefore, China's transition service-based economy presents tremendous opportunity for Western firms. The differences in the political and cultural environment between countries create risk and pose uncertainties for foreign investors, but companies must look at both the risk and the benefits before choosing to do business in China or not. And they also must be aware of the multicultural levels and play of government in business decisions. So that's our presentation, and on behalf of Marlena, Melinda, and myself, thank you for watching, and we hope you have a great summer.